All right, guys, how is everyone doing? We've got our first trade of the year in the books. That's Netflix here. Uh, we're going to talk about how to trade Netflix or any stock without a setup. Now, that doesn't mean we're trading haphazardly or just jumping in and out of a trade. There is something we were looking at, but it's not a classic setup. If I listed my toolbox of 20, 30 setups that I regularly trade, this one would not be in there. But there is something we were looking at here. If we look at Netflix, we had this huge earnings breakout back in the last quarter. When you get a breakout like this, you usually get a lot of back and forth, and then it's going to continue to run. And that's what we were looking for here. We were looking for this spot to enter, and we got that right in here on the third day of the year, the second trading day of the year, January 3rd. So what we're looking for here is there was a potential breakdown at the 9. And then we got this piercing pattern where we remounted back up over the 9. And now as swing traders, we just don't trade setups. That's where a lot of swing traders go wrong, is they're focused on setup, 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 and not thinking about the big picture. Let's talk about the big picture. We were noticing very early in the year that these MOMO sectors, these momentum sectors that had been running, like biotech, like commodities, they started, sorry, not biotech, like commodities, like finance, they started to pull back in a little bit. And all of a sudden we saw another little mini rotation where big tech and biotech started to run at the beginning of the year. And because we noticed that, we knew we had the opportunity here to jump into something like Netflix, and we took advantage of that. So it's kind of a misnomer when I say no setup, because it sounds like we're talking like we don't know. We're just haphazardly trading and really don't know what we're doing. That's not the case. Usually I tell people you better have a setup to trade. But here we can kind of call it a no setup because there wasn't an exact setup. I don't know what to call this. This isn't a breakout pullback. This isn't a rubber band setup. This is all those setups we have. This isn't one of those. But factoring in what we knew about what was going on in this industry, in this sector, we knew we want to be in big tech. And then we're just looking for that entry spot, and we got it here with a remount. Now, a remount is not a setup, it's an element of a setup. So we see we got the remount here. You could call this a piercing pattern or whatever you want to call it. This was our trigger, stops below this range. And then we got out, we timed this pretty good, right near the high here. Basically what we were doing is going back to the all-time high and looking to get to that range, which we did. And you can see sometimes you want to go back and look at where these resistance levels are. We got right up to that range, and that was our spot to get out. We got a nice 2-to-1 on this. Exited here. It's pulled back. I still love Netflix. A lot of the big tech still looks really good. And I'll just look for my next entry now. Maybe it pulls back and we get another test of the 9. Maybe it breaks out from here and we get a breakout play. So this was the Netflix no setup, but as you can see, a lot of analysis did go into it. It's not just jumping in without a setup. So that's some of what we do here. It's not always just setup, setup, setup. We're using this holistic approach of what's going on in the market, what's going on in the sectors to help us trade. Remember, guys, earnings season has started here in the trade report. We're going to be doing a lot of earnings stuff in the boot camp. I go over earnings breakouts and 3 of the 7 setups that I use to trade earnings breakouts. So check out that. Remember, this stock was alerted in the trade report. So you can go to bullsonwallstreet.com, go to swing alerts, and you can sign up there. I'll talk to you guys later today. Guys. Got another blog, another post coming out with the GWH trade. That was the second trade of the year, round tripper, and our second win of the year. So it's been a good start to 2017.